Hey yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Brainwash the Broke series. Super excited to be here again with another amazing guest. We've been having already before we jump into an interview a little bit of a conversation, how he get into entrepreneurship and so on, and he's a really interesting person, and I'm super pumped to have him here because it's gonna be so much value, so much, so much fun, and yeah, like that guy, he's got lots of behind like under his belt. Like he is really good what he does. And again, like super pumped to have you here, brother. Welcome to the show. Dakota Routh, what's up, brother?
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me, Adam.
Amazing, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. It's really interesting what you've been, like the whole journey of yours, like how did you get into entrepreneurship and so on. So, but for those people who never heard of you, or like from
Mhm.
my audience and so on, like can you give us a little bit of more, your story? How did you get into entrepreneurship? I'm gonna
Yeah,
listen a second time, but I'm completely good about it. But yeah, if you can, that would be amazing to start with.
absolutely. So my journey into entrepreneurship actually took a couple of different steps. I was in the Army, U.S. Army for 6 years, and when I got out, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and but I was into fitness, right? So I liked working out. I worked out all the time, and I was like, you know what? I want to be a personal trainer. I was like, why not? Right? I'd never been a personal trainer before. And I was like, I've got abs, so I might be good at this, right? I was kind of a little bit cocky back then, but and so I went into personal training and discovered real fast that successful trainers need clients, and I didn't have any
Mhm.
clients, and I wasn't really good at sales. At least I didn't think I was. Um, and so I tried for 6 months to get clients, and I couldn't. I didn't get any. I got none. In fact, I stayed under the radar because the gym that I was working for was expanding very fast. Like we went from 7 trainers to 70 trainers overnight. And had they not been going through that growth, I probably would have gotten fired pretty fast because I sucked. Um, I couldn't sell anybody. I just felt like I was word vomiting to everybody that came through. So I got this crazy idea. I was like, well, you know what? Maybe I'll go get some sales training. And so I'll move into the sales department of the gym. Um, and then after I get some good sales training and figure it out, I can move back and be a better trainer. So I moved into the sales department. And then things just started kind of clicking. Like it just started making sense all of a sudden. Like, okay, I figured out what I was doing wrong. And I fell in love with the sales aspect more than the training aspect. And I never really moved back into being a personal trainer. From there, I went on to run my own clubs for a large company, and then after a couple of years, decided to start a side hustle. I I I basically was working so many hours. I was working like 15 hours a day. I was making really good money, but I wasn't really sure I wanted to do that for the rest of my life. So I started a side hustle and decided to start a commercial cleaning company. And when I did that, I didn't quit my job. I was doing it back to back. So I'd get off work at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, and I would take these flyers that I made and I would go slide them underneath businesses' doors. So all of them were closed, right? So I'm going to offices and sliding underneath the doors, things like that. And I would try to do 50 or so every single night in hopes that somebody would call. And they did. They started calling. And so I started closing them. After about 6 months, I had like 17 paying clients. And we did really well. And then Gold's Gym International came knocking on my door, and they were looking for somebody to run a region of their company. So I ended up having to move. I quit quit working for one company to go work for Goldstein International and moved completely across the country. And when I did that, I had to sell my commercial cleaning company. So that was my first exit. And we sold that for, I think, $45,000. It wasn't a lot, but basically just sold them to clients. And then we packed up and moved. And then I eventually became the national vice president of sales for Gold's Gym. So I was running all of the sales department. And I really enjoyed it until about 2008. We did that for quite a while. Until 2008, the economy in the U.S. started to crash. Everybody was losing, a lot of people were losing their homes, people losing their jobs. And I remember this like it was yesterday. Keep in mind, I was the vice president of sales for the whole company. And we had a member come in. My office was at one of the gyms. And so we had a member come in, and I thought he was going to cry. Like he was almost in tears. He's like, "Hey, Dakota, I'm sorry, man, but I need to cancel my membership." Now, keep in mind, our memberships were like $60, $70 a month. They weren't cheap, but they weren't terribly expensive. And this guy I knew had been with us like 20 years, like a long time. And I was like, "Dude, what's going on?" And he's like, "Well, I lost my job, and I don't have any income." The same thing a lot of people were going through. And he goes, and my wife, well, she lost her job a month ago, and we've just kind of been floating by, and now both of us are unemployed. We're not really sure what's going to happen. And this guy was at the gym every single day. And so I was like, "You know what, dude, don't even worry about it. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to freeze your membership for 6 months. Okay. You're going to keep coming to the gym. You're not going to worry about your payment for you and your wife. Just come in to the gym, take your mind off of it, focus on getting a job. At the end of 6 months, if you know, you've gotten a job, then we'll reactivate your membership. If you haven't, well, then we'll reassess and we'll figure something else out. But I don't want you to focus on your gym membership." And we were losing members left and right at that time, like, because our attrition rate was really, really high because of so many people were losing their jobs and their homes. And I was trying to get creative on like, how can we keep these people long term? And so he was very grateful, very, very grateful, and thanked us a lot and so forth. So then I remember we went to a board meeting a couple of weeks later, and that topic of attrition, like we're losing members at a faster rate than we'd ever lost before. We need some creative ideas to keep our members. And I was like, "You know what?" I was like, "I have an idea." I was like, and I told him this story about this guy. And I told him a story about me giving him 6 months for free. And to focus on getting his job, getting a job, and getting back on his foot, and so forth. And I was blown away that the president of the company literally chewed my butt up and down. He was like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Why would you give away our product for free?" He's like, "Our product is way better. It's worth more than free. If they can't afford it, then they can go join a Planet Fitness and come back." And I'm like, "Yeah, the problem is if they go join a Planet Fitness, they're not coming back, right? They're, like it's harder to get them to come back than it is to keep them." And he didn't understand that. He was like, "Don't ever give away our product for free again." And I just felt dirty at that point. I was just like, this isn't really what I signed up for, right? Like I signed up to help people. Yeah, we're in sales, but I signed up to help people. I wanted them to feel better, look better, have more energy, live longer, things like that. And like, really? So went home that night, told my wife, I was like, "I'm going to quit my job." And she was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to quit." I was like, I don't want to do it anymore." And she's like, "Well, what are we going to do?" I was like, "I don't know. Well, we'll figure it out." And so I did. I went in the next day and I quit. I gave them my 2 weeks notice. And I was blown away because they're like, "Well, you can leave early. You can leave now if you want." I was like, "I've been with you guys like 8 years almost." I run the entire sales department for the whole company, for the basically the whole US. And now you're like, "Yeah, you can leave early." So it really kind of made me feel like what corporate America really is about, right? So we did. I quit my job, and then I moved back across country, and I started a boot camp in a parking lot. So this is 2008. I moved to Idaho, of all places, and decided to start a boot camp in a parking lot. So imagine this. We went to a local middle school in Boise, Idaho. And we sent out flyers like within a 5 mile radius. I just drew a map and I was like, draw 5 miles around it. And I went to this mail company. I was like, "I want to make a flyer. I want to send it out to everybody who lives in a 5 mile radius." We were charging $199 a month. We were giving away 30 days for free. So I was like, 30 days for free, $199 a month after that. And so we did that, and we sent the mailers out 3 weeks before we decided to launch. And our boot camp was at 5:30 in the morning in Idaho, so it was cold. It was real cold, but it was awesome because we had 32 people sign up in the first month. And out of the 32 people, we offered them an incentive to convert early. Like, hey, if you convert your membership, your free trial early, then we'll give you some one-on-one personal training sessions where we'll actually train you. And it worked out great. And that was really kind of like the first business that we had started where I was like, yeah, we're really helping people and I can support my family and all that kind of jazz. So we were making really, really good money at the time. And then shortly after that, it just kind of all snowballed in a good way. I had a guy who used to work for me who had started a gym in the same city, and he was getting his butt handed to him. Like he had owned this gym for about a year. It's losing $5,000 a month. Now his background was not like sales. His background was personal training. Like he wasn't used to being on the floor selling and that kind of thing. He was used to training people. But he had started this gym that was like a cross of an Anytime Fitness, so it's open 24 hours, but it's small, like a personal training studio. So it's got 4 treadmills, 4 bicycles. It had really nice equipment. Like it was gorgeous. But he was like, "Hey man, do you mind coming in and helping me?" And I was like, "Well," and he was a friend, so I was like, "I'll come in and help. I'll donate my time. I did it for free." And he's like, "Oh, I would really appreciate it." So I remember walking in this gym on the day one. And it was a Monday, which normally is a busy day for a gym. And I laid down on the floor in this gym on my back because I was the only one in the whole building. And I sat there for 20 minutes and not a single soul came into the building. No, nobody to work out, nobody to ask questions about memberships. And so then I called him and I was like, "Dude, you got a guest problem." I was like, "You don't have any traffic. Nobody's coming in here. Like, I don't think anybody even knows you're here." I was like, if you just, why don't you make some flyers? And we'll do it the same way I did it when I had my commercial cleaning company. We'll hand them out. And he's like, "Oh, this is a great idea." He goes, "The problem is I don't have the money to buy the flyers." So I was like, okay, well, I go, here's what we'll do. I'll buy the flyers for you. I'll pay for them. The first couple of memberships that come in from it, it will go to me to pay me back for my flyers. And then, you'll be off into the races. Oh, that's great. So that's what we did. My kids, my wife, and I, when we go to the grocery store, we'd put flyers on people's cars. Every time we visited a parking lot, we'd put flyers on people's cars, and people in. And in that 30 days, they went from selling no memberships at all to where we sold 21 memberships for them. And I was like, "Cool, there you go, man. That's how you fix the problem right there." And he's like, "Oh, this is great." And then he goes, "Do you want to buy my gym?" And I was like, no, I don't want to buy your. I was like, "I don't want to buy your gym." And he's like, "Please." And he goes, "I'll give you a really good deal." And so curiosity, I was like, "Okay, what's a good deal?" Because he's like, "Well, um, I'll give you all the equipment. All the equipment was paid for. There's about $300,000 in equipment in this building. It was really high quality stuff." And he goes, "And I'll sell you the gym for $40,000." And I was like, "No, I'm not interested." We ended up negotiating, going back and forth, and I bought this gym for $25,000. I was like, "Well, worst case scenario, if it fails, I'll sell the equipment and get my money back." But it didn't fail. It actually did really well. We in the first month, so we bought that gym in October, and by December, we were already coming close to outgrowing. What it basically happened was 2 days after we bought the gym, this guy walks in, and he looked completely out of place. And he's got a suit on, and he's looking around, and I'm training a client, right? And I was like, "Hey, sir, how can I help you?" And he goes, and he has a piece of paper in his hand. He goes, "I'm looking for a new gym." I was like, "Okay." He goes, "I just got notice my gym's closing." And I was like, ding, 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 like a light bulb just went off in my head. I was like, "Uh-oh, we got some good news here. What gym are you at?" And he told me the name of this gym, and I was like, "Well, that's the literally only gym around me, and they're shutting their doors, and they're way bigger than me, way bigger than me. Like from a square footage standpoint, they were probably 10 times bigger than me." And so I was like, "I tell you what were you paying with them?" And he's like, "Well, I was paying I think it was 25 bucks a month, something like that. And I was like, here's what we'll do. I'll honor your membership with them. You bring me proof of what your payment is. I don't care if it's a bank receipt, something like that. You can start using our gym right away. I'll give you the same monthly payment they were giving you. We're open 24 hours a day. No contracts, month to month. And he's like, deal. Perfect. As soon as I closed that deal, I ran out the door. I drove to the gym that was going out of business. And sure as shit, there's a whole bunch of people coming in and out and equipment's being moved. And I found the manager. I was like, dude, I'm sorry, man. I heard you guys were closing your doors. And he's like, yeah, unfortunately. I was like, well, do you have any paid in full memberships? People who have paid you for the year? He goes, yeah, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do with them. I go, well, I can offer you a solution. Because here's the thing is if a gym closes and they've collected money up front, they have to refund that money back to them, right? So let's say there's 100 people that have paid $1,000 for the year, hypothetically, and they each have 6 months left. You got 100 people you owe $500 to, right? And that's just an example. So I was like, tell you what, I will honor anybody who's done a paid in full with you. Like, no questions asked. I don't care if they have 3 months left. I don't care if they have 11 months left. They bring their contract in, show it to us that this is what they bought. I'll honor it, give them a key fob. They can start using the gym, no money out of their pocket. Now you don't have to refund somebody. In exchange, everybody who's paying monthly, we put a sign on your door that says, I will honor their memberships. If they bring the copy of their agreement or their bank statement in, I will honor their membership. And he was like, man, that would be fantastic. That'll prevent us from having to refund thousands and thousands of dollars. I was like, cool. I'll have a flyer made up today. I'll have it brought over. Is it okay if I put it on the door? He goes, absolutely. He goes, put it on the door, right? We were selling 15 memberships, 20 memberships a day for 60 days. Like just people just flocking in, right? And we outgrew that spot in 2 months. I was like, this is fantastic. And so what I didn't expect was, back in 2008 when the economy was crashing, there was going to be other gyms that were similar to my buddies. So the word kind of got out that this is what we had done and we had turned this gym around. And then in the next 6 months, I got 2 more offers from 2 other failing gyms to basically take over for no cost. Like we take over their lease, take over their equipment. And so in 6 months, we had 3 gyms and a boot camp, right? All because I quit my job working for Gold's Gym. And then from there, it was just, I mean, I can tell you more and more stories. Because of the gyms, we ended up starting a clothing line by accident, a very successful clothing line. Yeah, I'll tell you that story. So basically, our marketing method with the gyms was we would run Google ads, and the ad would say, come in for a free 30 days or a free t-shirt. No, I'm sorry, and a free t-shirt. It was and a free t-shirt. And so what we would do is we would train the front desk staff when they come in, like everybody's going to have their guard up. Like, what's, am I going to get my 30 days? Am I going to get a free t-shirt? They promised me a t-shirt, but I'm not going to get it. They're not going to give it to me. So the first thing that we would do is when they would walk in and say, hey, I'm here for the free t-shirt or the free 30 days, they would literally go, okay, cool. What's your size? And they would go, large. And they'd reach behind the front desk, pull out a large, show it to them right in front of them. Like this look like it? Yes, that's perfect. Then they would drape it over their shoulder. So that way the front desk person had the shirt right visually in front of them, right? And they could see it. They're like, okay, let me get your 30 days activated. So then they would activate their 30 days, print it off, and then give it to them. And they're like, let me show you, for insurance purposes, we got to show you around and make sure you know where everything is. Okay, so then they're walking around the gym, and then what would happen is they would ask them discovery questions like, hey, what are you doing here? Like, what are you going to do the 30 days? You're going to lose weight, gain weight, that kind of stuff, right?
Love it. Yeah, this is really cool.
And because we had given them all that stuff up front, their guard was already down. They're like, well, shoot, I already got all my stuff. Like, he's got my shirt right there, and he got my 30 days, right? So now they're talking to us, and they're more open. And then we get to the front desk, and we're like, oh, here's your t-shirt, right? And they give them their t-shirt. And then we would train them to literally play dumb, right? And they're like, oh my gosh, I almost forgot. You get 2 personal training sessions for free. Let me get those scheduled for you. And they would schedule them, and then they would transition to, by the way, we're running a promotion where we'll pay you $150 to give us back the 30 days. And they're like, what? hold on a second. And they would pause. Like we would teach them, just pause right there. Like as soon as you said, we're going to give you $150 to give us the 30 days back, right? Pause and let that sink into their head. Because almost always the consumer is like, wait a minute, hold on. You gave me the 30 days. Now you're telling me that if I give it back to you, you're going to give me $150. We're like, yeah, absolutely. And then they're like, okay, how's that work?
Yeah, that's really
So
cool. Yeah.
we're like, yeah, it's pretty simple. It's $150 to join the gym, and it's $30 a month. Okay, if you give us the 30 days back, we'll waive the $150. You'll still get 30 days for free because we're not going to start your billing for 30 days. But now you'll be set up on a permanent membership. So no money out of your pocket today. Your billing still starts 30 days from now, so you get free 30 days no matter what. But because you gave the 30-day pass back to us, we're going to waive all your startup costs. They're like, deal, sign me up. So 78% of the people would take that deal all day long.
That's awesome.
Um,
Holy smokes. Okay.
so then what would happen is we started selling a whole bunch of memberships. Well, I was buying these cheap, nasty t-shirts. They were horrible. And on the front, it said, look better, body under construction. And on the back, it said, look better naked, right? and and the t-shirts were horrible material, like construction, but they cost me a lot of money. So I got this wild idea. It's like, I can make t-shirts of my own. Right? So I bought a DVD. This is back when we were using DVDs. And I taught myself how to screen print. And so then I bought a screen printing machine. Next thing you know, I'm printing our own t-shirts for the gyms. And a buddy of mine goes, so that means you can now make my shirts. And I went, no, wait a minute. Yeah, I guess I can make your shirts. I didn't think about it like that. And so we started a clothing line called Freak Off My Leash. And it was like a lifestyle fitness gym brand. And it did really, really well. We did that in 2013. And next thing I know, we're processing almost 100 orders a day, shipping around the world.
Right.
And what I loved about that, so like the gyms kind of like, like this taught us MRR. We called it EFT back then, electronic funds transfer, right? So they taught us the power of MRR. Every morning we'd wake up, we'd have $10,000 in sales, and just simply from previous memberships, whatever it may be. But what I liked about the clothing line is it taught me the power of marketing to the whole world instead of marketing to my demographic around my gym. Right. So my gym, I can market like a 3 to 5 mile radius around the gym. Right. Nobody's going to drive 15 miles down the road to go to your gym.
Yeah.
Right. But when it came to the clothing line, it was like, now I can market to the entire planet. Hold on a second.
Right.
Right. And so that's exactly what we started doing. We started advertising and doing expos and conferences and conventions, and we used influencers and.
Yeah. Sorry to stop you. Have you used the gym to actually launch it, the clothing,
absolutely.
right? Yeah. So you test it on there, and then you've seen how many people is so excited about it, and you just launch it on internationally basically, and selling online with marketing and so on. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then from there, it just kind of evolved into eventually we started a social media management company because we were doing social media. We had our own team. We were doing social media ourselves anyways. And that's essentially what evolved into how we found HighLevel. We needed a platform that allowed us to do all of those things. We were the typical duct tape company. We were duct taping a company called Cloud Campaign, which was allowed us to do our social media management. We were using Thrive for our CRM. We were using, I think it was Active Campaign for emails. So we were piecing really together everything. And so we found HighLevel, and it was just a game changer for us.
Right. So that was it was the first type of agency that you or this type of software that you use, or have you tested before even different ones because lots of people started with ClickFunnels actually, so I'm really curious what led you to, or you've been going straight to GoHighLevel? That was the first thing that you tested, or tested both?
Oh no. So when we had our social media management company, our funnels were built on ClickFunnels.
All right.
Our payments were collected through Thrive. Our emails were done through Active Campaign, and we were managing social media on Cloud Campaign. So we were literally putting out everything together. So we did really well with ClickFunnels, really well. But ClickFunnels just was missing so many other components. Using ClickFunnels required us to use 5 or 6 other different things.
Right.
And so when we found HighLevel, What we decided to do was we were going to go all in on HighLevel.
Right.
So when we first launched our first agency in HighLevel, we basically took our social media management clients and we moved them
Uh-huh.
in. We didn't charge them any fees to move into the system because they had been our clients for a while at that point. And the hope is that we would be able to use them to upgrade other people into it. But what happened was it didn't work out like that. We actually fell flat on our face.
Mhm.
We sucked, and we didn't do very well. I remember the first month us being live. I was like, okay, HighLevel's amazing. You can do this, you can do that, you can do this, you can do this, and so forth. And then so we went live. Getting leads and getting prospects was never hard for us.
Uh-huh.
So we did 22 demos in our first month and closed nothing. I was like, what's going on? This isn't working.
Yeah.
um, And so
Uh,
we had to pull it off the market and kind of rewrite it, repackage it. So
yeah. Yeah.
when we pulled it off the market, we decided we're like, okay, we're going to focus on one specific thing.
Mhm.
At the time, um, uh, like real estate was really taking off
Uh-huh.
in the U.S. And so we decided to start marketing to real estate agents.
Mhm.
Um, and one of the things I noticed about real estate agents is like 20% of the real estate agents in the world were making 80% of the money. The other
Oh.
80% of them they were broke. They were
Yep.
making 30,000 or less a year. Um, and some of them were really good at marketing themselves, but most of them were not. Most of them were
Mhm.
like, I'm a real estate agent. You should just buy a house from me.
Mhm.
And they sucked at marketing. So what we did is we created a program that taught them how to generate leads on Facebook.
Ooh, okay.
We even provided, a snapshot. We didn't call it a snapshot, but we provided a snapshot that allowed them to, have funnels and ads and so forth already created, that kind of thing. And what we did is we created a course that taught them those things. So
Mhm. Mhm.
what I decided to do, like our first successful agency, is when we created our course, it was 25 lessons, 25 video lessons. It was really, really long. And we would provide all the information to them, like from a fire hose. Like, here's how we did it, right? Here's a PDF copy of the funnel we used. Here's a PDF copy of the ads we use. Here's a PDF. And we'd have like, we had a funnel for new construction. We had a funnel for buyers, a funnel for sellers. So there's like 15 funnels. Here's PDF versions of those. Go build them on ClickFunnels. Like, here, go build them on your own. It took us 100 plus hours to do it. And then,
Mhm.
or you can hire us and we'll build it for you, right?
Ooh.
So
Yep.
most people are like, yeah, I want that, but I don't want to build it. So then what they would do is they would just hire us, and it became an easy sell because they were bought into the solution, but they didn't
Yep.
want to
Yep.
actually build it themselves.
That makes sense. Yeah. Why
Mhm.
you didn't start it with gyms actually, like helping people to, like gym owners to do something like that? Because like was that would be the easiest, like from my perspective of seeing what you went through and so on, like the
Yeah,
easiest, jump into something like, agency model type of thing,
yeah. I was a little burnt out in the gym world at that point.
right?
I'd been in the gym industry for going on 20 years, and I wanted to do something different. And
Different, right?
so while we still have some gym clients in our
Huh.
SaaS, we don't market actively to gyms. Only reason we have them is their referrals or friends or things of that nature. And so like we just wanted to be away from that world.
Right.
Like we wanted something different.
Right. So are you still focusing on real estate agents and so on, like those type of people, or what is the biggest like when it comes to do you focus also like on online businesses, or most of the time like it's like when it comes to like physical local businesses or service
Yeah.
providers in local and so on?
So that's a great question. So I'm all about pivoting at the right point.
Hmm.
Like one of the reasons we got out of the gyms in 2014 is because we were getting burnt out, and I knew that if I was getting burnt out, then the quality of the gym product would start going downhill. So when it comes to real estate, like in the U.S., real estate market was climbing really, really high, but then
Hmm.
at some point it stopped, and then it started to drop. We went from having more real estate agents in the history of the United States to now we're losing more real estate agents than we've ever lost before.
Hmm.
So what we decided to do was we started to make a pivot. So we stopped selling to real estate. We still have a lot of real estate clients,
Mhm.
but we stopped selling to real estate agents actively, and started selling to restaurants.
Mhm.
Okay, so our solution for a restaurant was that, restaurants, like, they don't want to go out and do marketing, right? This is why they
Mhm.
hire marketing companies and think they don't want to build workflows, they don't want to build funnels and so forth. They just want people to come back into the restaurant and buy their food.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a lot of experience generating traffic for a restaurant. So I was like, well, what am I going to do? Run some ads for a restaurant, or that's going to kind of it might that's really time consuming. So what I did is we created a loyalty program that was different from what they were used to seeing.
Mhm.
So what we did is we made a QR code. That QR code opens up the text messaging app on a consumer's phone. It pre-populates a message like, "Yes, I would like 10% off my bill today," for example. And then we printed up these QR codes and we put them on all the tables at the restaurant.
Uh-huh.
And so, and then we would train the servers like, hey, when you bring the ticket to the table, just, hey, is this your first time here? Yes, awesome. Do me a favor, scan the QR code on the table. We'll give you 10% off your bill today. And so what they would do is they would scan the QR code, it would pre-populate their text, and it would say, yes, I want 10% off my bill today. And then the high level system would message them back, go, this is wonderful. What's your first name? My first name is Joe. Okay, Joe. And what's your email address, Joe? Here's my email address. Awesome. Here's your confirmation. Show this message to your server. So they'd show the message to server. Server takes 10% off. Now I have a name, phone number, and email of that patron who visited that restaurant, and I can market them every week. So then what we would do is we would take that information and we would put it into a 12-week promotional cycle where every week on a specific day, it would offer them an incentive to come back. Like, hey,
Ooh.
it's Monday, kids eat free tonight, that kind of thing. Next week, it's Tuesday, your second drink is on the house, come for happy hour. Next week, it's Tuesday again, we're having a mariachi band, come on in, that kind of thing. And it would message people because, as you probably heard in high level, 96% of people check their text messages in the first 5 minutes of getting it. So that program works really, really well. Works really well. The difference between the real estate agent client and the restaurant client is a real estate agent client is actively in their account, trying to figure out how to make it better, build workflows, things like that. Where the restaurant client was like, I don't want to touch it. Like I don't care about any of that. I don't want to touch it. So we had
Yeah.
to provide a done for you solution. So we charged more. So now our restaurants they pay a lot more per month with us because we're managing the whole account for them.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool and pretty, pretty smart move actually. Even though like, yeah, this is like because we live, for example, like when we live in the UK, we live in this type of area where is lots of like lots of traffic. People are coming
Yeah,
here because they're mountains area and so on, like lakes
yeah,
and so on.
yeah.
Um, So that would be pretty cool because I have never seen anybody doing something like that in here. I think
Yeah.
England, like even the Europe, is very very behind a lot of things from US
Mhm.
and so on. I can see that very very clearly because like I most of my time spending with US people, US clients and so on. And I'm
Yeah.
looking in here around, and I was holy smokes, those people just don't understand pretty much anything what's going on. It's
Yeah.
sometimes so funny, bro.
Yeah.
and but yeah, like from there, I would like to talk a bit about the challenges that you went through when it comes to your beliefs, mindset, and so on. Like, the whole
Mhm.
show is about brainwashing patterns and so on. Like,
Of
did
course.
you have to go through some type of like, discovery of yourself? Like, when it comes to like being, I don't know, like if you've been always this way as who you are right now, but like when you've been, for example, in early stages of your business, or even like you've been studying or going even like before you went to the army, how was your like normal you when it comes to like beliefs and so on? Like, have you been doubting yourself? Have you been always like super positive or so on? Like,
Mhm.
how did you went through that whole stage of your life?
100% I doubted myself. I doubt myself today, sometimes. And I don't think that ever stops, honestly.
Mm,
There's bits and pieces and little pockets of time where you go through self doubt. you start asking yourself, like, am I an imposter? Can I do this? Is this going to be successful? Are people going to like it? What if they don't like it? What if they hate it? What if they talk about it? You go through all of these different things, and that happens pretty much daily. The difference between today and early on is I can make mental mindset adjustments very fast. Like, 20 years ago when that would happen, I would get into a slump and I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right choices? And I'd be there for sometimes days, like
Mm.
just kind of moping around, right? Now it happens, and 10 minutes later, I'm like, dude, wake up. Like, shut
Mm.
up, man. Let's go. Like, get up, stop doubting yourself, go do it.
Yeah.
Right. It's like one side of myself is like, you're not going to be very good at this, and you probably should stop, and nobody's going to
Mm.
like it, and all that kind of stuff. And the other side of myself is like, tell that dude to shut the fuck up. Right. Tell him to go
Yeah.
away. Right. Like, and it's that side right there that lives in my brain most of the time. This guy just kind of peeps in when he gets an opportunity. But the difference now is that I can make those adjustments quickly. So when I do start to doubt myself, I'm like, dude, just keep plugging forward. Um, I live by the mindset now where I'm just gonna keep going until something stops me. Like,
Mm.
I'm gonna keep going until something stops me, or until I see that, okay, I can make a tweak and things are gonna be a little bit better. Just because it's broken doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means that
Mm.
something's not, like, if my refrigerator broke down, I'm gonna like, fuck it, refrigerator's done, get rid of it. Right? If my car didn't start, I'm like, just throw the car in the trash. No, I'm gonna go find somebody to fix it, and I'm gonna figure out what's wrong with my car, and then I'm gonna make those adjustments, replace the parts, and be going back about my business that way.
Yeah, yeah, I
Mhm.
love it because like this is really strong mindset when it comes to, because so many people, it's so easy to just like give up, like don't try to fix
Yeah,
things and just say like whatever, like what I mean, and just move on.
yeah,
But when it comes to the mindset shift, like when, for example, I've been, all the time, like also like very tiny since my young age, and I doubted based on like from on daily basis with, my friends or other my even my close ones like parents and so on all the time. And it came at it came to the point where I was like, I had some success, and then
okay,
like this like success comes when you keep trying it, keep doing and so
mhm,
on, like and you start building the confidence in yourself and everything what been doubted for so long, right? And then like right now for me is like everything is possible, like everything is possible. And like if anybody there listening to this and hearing what like this dude is sharing with you and everything what he went through and so on, like guys, everything is possible. Like you just
mhm,
have to stick around as long as possible, like literally never giving up and just going through the shit, even though you know it's uncomfortable, and it's gonna be uncomfortable because like,
mhm.
would you imagine yourself doing something else than you're doing right now, for example? Would you be able to imagine
Nope,
doing something?
nope, nope.
And why is that?
I'm exactly where I want to be, because that's the life that I wanted to create. It's the life that I wanted to build. I have the freedom now where if I wanted to take the whole day off, I'm like, I'm not going to go to work today. I could cancel all my meetings and take the day off, and nobody can say anything about it. I can go on vacation. I can work from a hotel. I can work, somewhere else, things of that nature. And that's the life that I love. And I can spend it with my family. I can, provide for my family at the same time. My wife and my daughter are out of state right now, going to a volleyball tournament, and they're able to do those things because of the life that we've built with our businesses and pushing forward.
It's amazing. I love it. I love it so much. Yeah. How many kids do you have actually?
I have 3 kids. I have
Three kids.
a son and 2 daughters.
That's awesome. That's awesome, brother. Yeah. How you preventing or preparing them for the life how as it is right literally right now, like there is so many this type of unfavorable patterns that we are literally taught by our, like
Yeah.
parents or people, teachers, or so many other people who are really influential in our life. How do you preparing them for like the life this actually is, or even becoming, because like with AI and everything, what is changing right now, it's pretty interesting to see
Yeah.
what's gonna be happening in the future.
Yeah. This is a great question. So I mean, I don't think you can really prepare them for everything, but you
Right.
can get them as prepared as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the 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 challenge I found when I first became a parent is, I grew up broke. I grew up poor, right? I joined the military right out of high school because I didn't feel like I had a lot of other choices. um, and immediately you go into protection mode when you have a kid, and you're like, I don't want them to go through the same struggles that I did. And the truth is the version of me today would tell the version of me back then, that's dumb. That's a mistake.
Uh-huh.
Your children need to go through struggles. They need to go through challenges. It's like, iron sharpens iron, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like even when you're working out in the gym, you go to the gym, you work out, you tear the muscle, you're sore, you're going to be sore, right? And then you wait for your body to not be sore, and then you go back and you do it again, and like, I need to get sore again, right? You're essentially building up that tolerance so that your muscle grows and is stronger. And so I remember early on when my son, he's my oldest, I would find myself like, oh, I don't want him to have to, work for a living or something like that, something stupid. And I would, after going through and like, I remember buying my first car, and I was like, oh, that was a mistake. Where, I had to earn my first car. I bought my first car on my own. And so it took him years to be able to see the value of earning something. Where now, like my youngest, we take completely opposite approach. Like she earns everything. Like we
Mm-hmm.
we make her go through struggles on purpose. Like when she's uncomfortable, she's having a fight with one of her friends. We're like, look, go talk to your friend. I don't want to talk to my friend. Nope, go talk to your friend. Right? Go through that uncomfortable feeling. Tell them how you feel. Things of that nature. Like instead of protecting them and coddling them, we're making them go out and have those tough conversations.
Mm-hmm.
We're making them go out and feel the struggles of their decisions, things of that nature. And for me, the older version of me, I feel like that's probably the better of the two approaches. Is that you want to get to a point where you're preparing them for the world, not hiding them from the world.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. This is really interesting because like I'm I'm always curious about it, right? Like how people are actually preparing their kids and so on. Because like I don't have a kids yet, but once the time comes, I would love to see, the different ways how people are actually like, growing, like raising their kids and so on.
Yeah,
Because like this is really important. We want to make this world a better place, right? Because like what
yeah,
is happening now inside of the world, like, it's like it's so crazy, like. And it started everything started like pretty much going to completely craziness since last year, right? Like people are
hmm,
being killing, like literally, like killing themselves, or even like yeah, it's just insane.
yeah,
And so I think like we live in this type of world where people are scared to even share their opinions and so on. Like
hmm,
this is crazy to me, right?
yeah,
Like you should be completely, fine going out there and just sharing what you think and what
hmm,
you like, who you want to be, and everything like that, right? This is not
right,
like we shouldn't be judged based on who that if you said something that is not actually like somebody thinks is not correctly said or something, like you know what I mean, like everybody should have its own their own opinions,
100%.
right?
Just because you believe something different than I do doesn't make you a better person or a worse person. You're
Hmm.
still an equal. We just have difference of opinion, and unfortunately, in the world today, you get especially in the U.S. With politics, you have two political sides that are constantly battling because you think different than me. And for me, I'm like, dude, if you're my friend, if I care about you, I don't care who you voted for. I don't care who you want to be president. I don't. You have your own opinion. I have my own opinion. I care about who you are as a person. Like, how do you treat people? Like, what do you like when somebody's knocked down? Are you there to pick them up, or are you there to put your foot on their back? That's more so what I care about. Like, who are you as a person?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Either way we're gonna, it's so funny because like that person, like so many people, how many people you have around yourself, like when it comes to like you true friends, right?
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
this is a really cool actually topic when it comes to, you know, talking about like people care about others people's opinions so much,
Hmm.
but they don't even know you sometimes, like, or
Right.
if they see you, or like you can meet them once in your life and they never going to see you again, for example, right? And then like why even care? And that's like lots of
Yep.
people actually stuck in there because they just, oh my gosh, what if somebody going to think about something wrong, you know, about me, that I'm like this type of like this type of person, or so. I had this struggle a lot when I've been starting out, right? Because like I've been always behind the scenes. Nobody like
Yeah.
don't talk to me. I want to just do my craft,
Yeah.
and that's all,
Yeah.
right? But it has to change. Like when it comes to, if you want to be successful in business, it has to change. You have to be out there. You have to be having this powerful conversation, having, you know, great conversation with so many amazing people. And I'm so blessed to be able to talk to people like you and 100 other, more than 100 now, over 6 months, because I just freaking show up.
I love it. I love
You
it.
know, this is
Go ahead, dude.
insane. You
Keep doing
know,
what you're doing.
so yeah, I'm super blessed to have this opportunity, and having people like you in here and having like so much fun, because like this is real talk, and this is real world, and we are living in this, and it's all about
Yeah.
us and how we going to show up in front of other people, and what we gonna do to make our life better and make the world better also, right?
Completely agree. Yeah.
Right. And so when it comes to, okay, let's jump back to when it comes to AI,
Okay.
how you use AI right now, and like what is, you know, do you implementing it also into into like your, you know, agency business? Like do you
Yeah.
use it for your clients or so on? Like how do you actually implement it for yourself?
We use AI a lot. AI is probably an active part of our business and our lifestyle every single day.
Right.
From as simple as using ChatGPT to help manage things like emails and conversations and things of that nature, to we use the AI inside of HighLevel for voice and conversations that are happening on our website, text messages that are going back and forth, and then of course we implement it into our clients. Um, if a client is open to AI, then we want to encourage them to put it into their business because it's going to help them not lose any leads. Imagine you're a home services company, which is another agency that we have, where we build websites and AI essentially for home services. So imagine you're a plumber, and you're a relatively small business. So you got one, maybe two employees, and you're on site and you're running a Google ad, or somebody finds you on Google because you have all these wonderful reviews, and they click on it and then they call, and your head is underneath the sink and you're not able to answer. Right? Do you think that person on the other end is gonna like wait for you to get your head out of the sink? Nope. They're gonna go to the next person down the list, right? So the selling point is that, look, you're not going to miss any leads. If we're
Yeah.
having an active conversation with the lead, they're unlikely to go to the next business, right? Because they're communicating back and forth with you. Whether they're talking to an AI named Wally, or talking to an automation through your HighLevel, it's irrelevant because it's preventing them from going to find the next business, right? Now imagine that job is worth, I don't know, $500, right? Not only did you make $500, but you prevented your consumer from making your competition, excuse me, from making $500. So you really have a positive swing of $1,000, right? So you prevented that consumer from going to your competitor, and you kept them in house. So any referrals and next be back business that comes back from it is going to go to you.
That makes sense because, you know, like when it comes to, you know, you did this whole work of, you know, marketing and all of that, like having websites set it up, everything, like, you know, being able to be research, like search, like, you know, what is the word when you like researchable? Yeah, probably. Like,
Yeah,
you know, when you're gonna go to Google, for example, and people research you, right? And now
yeah,
like you are not picking the phone, so it's like, duh, you know, like why, like, you know, you just literally flushing in the toilet, the whole effort and everything, like the money that you have to put
yeah.
in under it. Yeah, so that makes completely sense, right? This is really powerful. And I would you say that AI can be even beneficial for online businesses actually? Like, or do you see it more for people like, like local businesses like restaurants, or home improvement stuff,
Well,
like, or stuff like that?
well, my business is 100% online, and we use
Okay,
AI actively on all of them.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think I don't think it's just restricted to physical businesses and brick and mortar. It's definitely something that benefits all types of businesses. Yeah.
Right. So for example, for you, like you're basically running now agency, right? So
Mhm.
how do you how where what is the places that you use, for example, the AI the most? So, somebody who's, for example, starting a business or so on, like they can like figure out this type of like, because in my opinion, it's always better to go like, do you know like Alex Hormozy, you probably know, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Everybody knows that guy right now. So, he's always talking about like you either going to sell a super low ticket product to everybody or go and sell high ticket to a selected few more
Right.
richer people, like more, people who are, or businesses that are actually having the money to pay you, because like that's the perfect uh what is the word, like when, high level, like people who are successful or businesses that are successful, they most of the time they have the money, but they don't have the time. Synergy, I think, that's the word. Because like, and people who are starting a businesses, for example, are providing services, is the best way to like put these things together, because you have the time to spend doing it for somebody like done for you services or so on,
Yeah.
and the businesses has the money to actually pay you for it, right? So but they didn't have the time to actually do it themselves, so they rather hire somebody who's gonna do it for them and so on. Like,
Yep.
what is your opinion on that? And when it comes to AI, what would be the best possibilities or opportunities for people who are starting out, to what to focus on?
Um. So okay. So you hit it right on the nose. I mean, you basically answered your own question here. So, um, whoever you're selling to, whoever your niche is, if you're going to be selling them like an inexpensive product, we'll call it $97 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number one, how many of those do you have to sell in order to become profitable? Probably a lot,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
It's going to be hard to have a support company. It's going to be hard to do marketing and so forth. Plus, typically, people who are paying less are the biggest headaches. They're the ones that are that want more, right? Like the dollar store approach. They go to the dollar store and like, well, this is I want two of these for $1, right? No, so you have to keep that in mind, right? So if you're going to sell mid ticket or high ticket, I would view mid ticket like $500, $600, $700 a month, something
Mm-hmm.
like that. High ticket probably $2,000, $3,000. So if you're going to sell mid ticket or high ticket, number one, the people you're selling it to have to be able to afford it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if you're selling mid ticket to a barber, right, like a one person barber, they're probably not going to be able to afford your mid ticket item, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if you're selling a mid ticket to a restaurant that is generating, five, seven, $10,000 a day, they're gonna be able to afford your product more, right? Or to a home services like a roofing company, what's a roof cost these days? 10, 15, $20,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be able to afford your product a lot more. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you have to keep that in mind. Like, okay, so yes, I have an idea of what I want to sell. I have an idea of what my price point's going to be. But if you're selling a mid ticket or high ticket to people who can't afford it, then you are in the wrong niche. You need to
Mm-hmm.
just change it up and make sure you're paying attention to those things.
Okay. And when it comes to AI, how would you like, what type of, because now AI is a very hot topic. Like people are talking
Mhm.
about it everywhere, and like my social media is like all of the, AI, most of the time.
Yeah.
And so what would be like something that you would suggest for people who starting out, like what they would should focus on using AI, like what type of services, for example, or something like
Mhm.
with AI they should be focusing on, to actually like where is a really good potential of like, doing great services or so on.
Sure. Remember, you've got client facing AI and you've got non client facing AI.
Ooh,
Okay,
okay.
so what I think a lot of people nowadays are focusing on is client facing AI.
Mm-hmm.
So an example of that would be like they're setting up a voice answering receptionist,
Mm-hmm.
or they're doing a conversational AI bot where the client actively knows that I have an AI embedded into my business. Well, what if I went to you instead and I did a non client facing AI? Hypothetically, you own a business, and I'm like, hey man, I can manage all of your social media. I'll create all of your content. I'll even run your ads for you, and so forth. My team will be taking care of it every single day. We'll make sure it's always posted, that you're happy with the post. We'll post 2-3 times on every single platform you have, and so forth. Okay, what would you pay for that? Well,
Mm.
you think I'm doing it and I'm doing all the work. So you're going to give me what, 2,000, $1,500, something like that a month, right? What you don't know is behind the scenes, I got an AI building all of that, right? And I just
Mhm.
built out 30 days worth of content in 20 minutes for you, right? And then I'm going to send it over to you and have you review it and that kind of thing. Right. And then I have the HighLevel system posting it to your social media automatically on a predetermined schedule. Right. I don't
Mhm.
even have to do it. Like literally, I can spend an hour creating a month's worth of content for a client, charge them $1,500 to $2,000 a month, right? And I use an AI to do the whole thing, right? So remember, there's multiple ways to use AI in your business. It doesn't always have to be to the point where the client even knows that the AI is doing it, right?
Mhm.
So I think AI is the future. Let me rephrase that. AI is the now, and it's also the future.
Right.
Remember, AI is at its worst. The worst AI is ever going to be is right now. Okay.
Mhm.
It's only going to progressively get better and better every single day. 6 months from now, I think AI will be smarter than the smartest human being on the planet. Okay.
Mhm.
By the end of 2026, there will be an AI that is smarter than the smartest person on Earth. And in 2 years, I think AI is collectively going to be smarter than all of mankind.
Mhm.
Um, it's just the question becomes is like, at what point are you going to adapt to it? Like, I remember back in the day, right? So early 2000s, late 1990s, something like that. You had all these people who were like, I'm never going to use the internet, right?
Yeah.
Now, guess what? They're watching TV on the freaking internet, right?
Yeah.
Right? I remember in the late '90s, they're like, "I'm never gonna have a cell phone. I'm gonna always have my landline." I haven't seen a landline in 15 years in anybody's house. Right now, everybody's got. My grandma has had a cell phone. Right? Everybody's got cell phones. So there's always going to be people who are going to push back and just tell you like, "I'm never going to use AI. It's dangerous." And no, 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 no. Well, you know what? I bet you money that if you're still here in 10 years, you're using AI.
100%. Oh man, hey, are you still like sometimes finding out that people are like resistant when it comes to AI? Like for example, even your clients, because you said like something
Absolutely.
there. Yeah, do you?
Mhm.
Okay,
Absolutely. I think it
interesting.
just depends on the client. Like a high level client is less resistant than a typical like home services company, right?
Yeah,
Like your typical business that's brick and mortar, they're more resistant than high levels. Like they're most of them are bought into AI in some way, shape,
yeah,
or form.
yeah.
Um, I think all of us would hope that some of the like latency issues and like can you tell if it's an AI, that kind of stuff would go away, but and it will eventually. But yes, there are different styles of businesses that are more resistant.
100%. Okay, yeah, that's really cool. Um, all right, brother. Thank you so much. Before I let you go, tell us, and tell the listeners what do you do exactly right now, and how
Mhm.
like what is the vision into the future with what you do?
That's a great question. I appreciate you asking. So we've seen a lot of success in the SaaS world. We've made a lot of mistakes, who are definitely not perfect. The difference is we've learned from our mistakes. We kept pushing forward. And so now we've built a good living, built a good business in SaaS. And we decided to, about a year and a half ago, maybe a little more, start a white label support company, which is this one here, agency support for HighLevel. So now we have a white label support company. We do onboarding for high level agencies and their clients. We do support for high level agencies and their clients. We have a team. We have a big team of VAs that build websites and funnels and so forth. Basically, if you think about it, your average high level agency owner started in high level agency because they were good at sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've met anybody who was like, man, I can't wait to build out workflows and that's this part that just gets me going, right? No, they're like, I want to make money, right? And so they were good at sales. They thought they were good at sales, something like that. They decided to start a high level agency. And so what we decided to do is like, you know what? We'll focus on the tech. We'll focus on the support. We'll focus on onboarding. We'll even have VAs so that you can go out and focus on sales. You do the sales, we'll do the rest of it. And that's kind of what we've been focusing on the last couple years. We also have a coaching program called GHL Playbook. It's really, really popular. It was launched a little over a year ago. I think we now have about 700 students. And we meet twice a week on Thursdays and Fridays at 11 a.m. both days, Pacific Standard Time. Thursday's session is all about high level, like we're coaching on sales, we're coaching on high level. We even talk about how to overcome objections, how to build value, advanced closing techniques, basically the works. And then Friday session is all focused on AI. But when we launched it, I promised to the group that we would focus on things outside of AI as much as outside of high level, as much as we were focusing on HighLevel's AI. So I didn't want it to all be about high level because there's a lot of people in the community that are using other tools like ChatGPT or Gemini or I don't know, 15 other different versions of them, right? So we do training on various types of AI every Friday. How to use it in your business, how to use it to get clients, things of that nature. And so that's been a lot of fun. Like 17 different lessons or courses, I should say, excuse me, inside that coaching program, and it's been a blast. We've been enjoying it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, what is the vision? Do you have any vision, like some next goal that you are heading towards, like when it comes to that?
Absolutely. So no, number one, there's always skeptical people out there, right? Who are like, well, you got lucky. You didn't. It just kind of happened, right? Had that guy not walked into your gym, you would have never had a successful gym, right? So there's a lot of skeptical people out there. So what we decided to do was a couple of months ago, we were like, you know what? I'm going to start a brand new agency from scratch. I'm going to focus on a specific niche. I'm going to do exactly what I teach. And we're going to grow it. We're going to grow it live in front of the community. So every week we do an update, like here's where we stand, here's how many clients we have, here's what we're doing, and so forth. So now we've started another agency. It's called Brand Aid Marketing, where we focus on home services, selling websites and AI. We call them smart websites to home services businesses like plumbers and roofers and contractors and things like that. And we're doing it live for people to see in the community, and it's working really well. We're quite impressed with it. So that's really the next focus is like, look, not only do we want you to do what we teach, but we're going to do what we teach, and we're going to do it live and show you that it works.
Nice.
And that seems to be going really, really well.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. I love it. This is a really cool strategy to actually show people that you know what you are doing and so on. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you so much, brother. That was awesome. It was amazing interview. It went so fast. Oh my gosh, we could talk and talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, totally. So thank you so much. Thank you for being here. And yeah, for everybody who's listening, it was a pleasure to to have you, brother. And for everybody who's listening, that was Dakota Routh. Mm-hmm. Thank you, brother. Thank you for being here. And we will see you guys in the next episode. Bye for now.